And the lady started laughing at me. She goes, well, we have a buying office, and it's in Dallas, so you should call there. And I said, okay. And I learned from my cold calling days not to leave a message, so I called for, I think it was 3 to 5 days before the hosiery buyer ever picked up. I never left a message. I just kept hanging up, and all day at odd times I'd try her. Finally, she answered, and I just said, hi, this is Sarah Blakely, and I've invented something that's going to change the way your customers wear clothes and help all your salespeople sell more.
Oh, what a great benefit. Boy, you're training to get your message out of you.
Yeah.
You had to.
And she was like, okay, mail it to me. And I was like, I can't mail it to you. You know, I have to come in person. And we went back and forth on that. And I said, look, you got nothing to lose. You can kick me out after 10 minutes. Just let me fly there. And she said, if you're willing to fly here, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I got on a plane, and I had my lucky red backpack from college, which literally, it is lucky. And my friends begged me not to take it, Tony. They were like, Sarah, no. You're going to the Neiman Marcus headquarters. Do not bring that old, dirty red backpack. And they were like, buy a Prada bag, return it the next day, like whatever you need to do. And I was like, no, I got to bring it. It's good luck. So I flew there. I'm sitting with this lady that is perfect. I mean, her like dress matched her pen, matched her shoes, right? And I'm sitting there like, with my red backpack from college, an East Pack, and I had my prototype in a Ziploc bag from my kitchen, and I had a color copy of the packaging. And 5 minutes into my pitch, I was losing her. I mean, I think nonverbals are more important than verbal, and I had learned that in sales. I pay attention to the nonverbal. So, you know, so many times I'd be selling my fax machine, and someone would go, I love it. It's great, and I'm going to call you tomorrow. And I'd be like, oh, God. And I would even say to them, you know what? You're shaking your head no, but you're telling me yes. That's a little concerning. Like, can you really be honest with me? What's the big issue? And then they'd be like, blah. And then I'd get one last chance to be able. So anyway, her nonverbals were like clear as day. I was like, oh, God. So I just randomly, I said, Diane, will you come to the bathroom with me? She's like,
talk about breaking her pattern.
She's like, excuse me? I said, I know it's a little weird, but will you come to the bathroom with me? I'm going to show you my product on and not on. And I went into the stall, and I showed her under white pants without Spanx. And then I put them on, and I came out, and I showed her with Spanx. And she immediately went, I get it. It's brilliant, and I'm going to try it in 7 stores. And I was like, yes.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So when they put them into Neiman Marcus, did they take off right away, or did you have to do some of the former marketing?
Well, they did, but I had a little something to do with that.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah, so she said, I'm going to try them in 7 stores, which was amazing. And I immediately called everyone I knew in those 7 cities, and I paid them to buy Spanx.
You and Jesse are twin souls. I can see that for sure.
I totally paid people to buy Spanx. I was like, hi, it's Sarah. We sat next to each other in 4th grade. I know I haven't talked to you since, but I created this product called Spanx. I'll mail you a check. Go in, tell the salesperson you've been looking for it for your whole life. And and I literally bought up a lot of my product. And, you know, the Neiman's buyer called me, and she's like, we are selling out. I was like, no kidding. I can't believe it. And then just as I was running out of money, Oprah called, and that was like, I got a chance to be one of Oprah's favorite things, which was
oh my gosh,
amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. And
and you were running out of cash.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so, but I wanted to say something also about the not knowing how it's supposed to be done. So after I got into Neiman's, all of these people in the industry came up to me, and they're like, how in the world did you land Neiman's? And I would look at them, and I go, I called them. I'm not even kidding. And we would just stare at each other. They'd be like, what do you mean you called them? I'm like, I called them. Why? What do you do? They're like, I go to trade shows, and I've been setting up a booth for the last like 6 years, and everyone says that around year 6 or 7, Neiman's comes to your booth. And I was like, I didn't even know there were trade shows. So there's so much
incredible.
to be said. That one example, I think, is so telling about trusting, not knowing how it's supposed to be done.
Yes. So you go on Oprah at that critical time. Obviously, we get a sense of what happened there. But you decided early on, if I remember reading correctly, that you weren't going to do traditional advertising, maybe partially because of economics, but that you were using word of mouth. But also, you really one of the early people using influencers. I mean, now everybody does that now. They think of Instagram and social media, but you didn't have it in those days. Why did you make that choice? And how did you make that choice? What did you decide to do around marketing? What was your philosophy around marketing in those early days? And how does it affect you still today?
So you're right that I made the choice for budget, initially. And then when I saw how effective it was and how authentic it felt,
Yes.
then I didn't change it even when I had the budget to do it. So Spanx became a household name and a global brand without ever advertising for the first 16 years of business.
Well, let's have a hand for that. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. So thank you. So for 16 years, we didn't do any formal advertising. And I basically sat in my apartment and said, what is the most effective way for me to get awareness, brand awareness, for no money? And I just wrote all of the ideas down. I was like, send product to people like Oprah, call every radio station in America, call all the editors of every fashion magazine. I went to the store and I bought every fashion magazine and I circled names in the front, and I just did it like that. And then after maybe 4 to 6 months, I ended up hiring someone to do that had no experience in it either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what they
All
couldn't
my
do.
first employees had no experience in what they were doing.
How did you pick your first employees? What was your criteria?
Well, I like to say as soon as you can afford to, hire your weaknesses. And I knew when you're an entrepreneur, you know what your weaknesses are. It's usually what you don't enjoy, too. So it became pretty clear to me that I wasn't good at operations, that I wasn't good at the accounting and the inventory side of the business. And so my first employee was an operator. And he was my boyfriend at the time. And he was a healthcare consultant. So naturally, I was like, come help me. This makes perfect sense. And then my second employee was someone who did PR. And she was a neighbor who I had given a free sample to, and we walked to get a bagel together. And she told me the whole walk there and the whole walk back why she loved it. And at the end of it, I was like, will you be my head of PR? Like, will you take this list of all these people and the radio DJs and everyone I'm trying to get? And she said, absolutely. And then my third hire was an assistant to help me book all my travel and hotel and stuff. And after about 2.5, 3 weeks, she became my head of product.
Wow.
Because I turned to her and I was like, do you want to be my head of product? She's like, I don't know anything about shapewear or hosiery. I'm like, I don't either. Perfect. And she came, and she's still to this day, 20 years later, we're 20 years old this year. Spanx started in 2000. So she's had a product. She had no idea she has this unbelievable gift. And so she figured it out. She kind of became an extension of me in product. I would dream up ideas, and then she's really good at solving the problems